All right, let's talk about something we all think about, even if we kind of push it to the back of our minds. Death. For most of us, right, it's just a fleeting thought. But what happens when that thought stops being fleeting and becomes, well, an all-consuming fear? Today we're going to get into that. We're going to break down the fear of death, what it is, and where it even comes from.
So let's just dive right in with the big one. Why does the idea of death have such a grip on us? I mean, thinking about our own mortality is a totally universal human thing. But for some people, that thought isn't just a quiet, reflective moment. Nope, it's a huge, paralyzing force that can actually take over their entire life.
And this intense fear, it actually has a name. It's called Thanatophobia. Basically, it's an intense and, let's be honest, often irrational fear of death or dying. But what's really fascinating here is how broad this thing can be. It's not just about worrying about your own end. It can be this terrifying anxiety about losing someone you love, or it can be a super specific fear about the process of dying itself. It's incredibly complex, you know?
Okay, so now we have a name for it. But that's just scratching the surface. To really get what thanatophobia is all about, we gotta dig a little deeper. Where do the roots of this fear actually come from?
Well, it turns out it can come from a lot of different places. For some people, it all starts with a traumatic event, like losing someone suddenly. For others, it's more of a philosophical thing, you know? That big existential dread about the great unknown. Sometimes it's tangled up with other conditions like panic disorder. And of course, a huge piece of the puzzle is our own beliefs. The stories our culture tells us, or what we personally believe happens after we die. All of that shapes how we face this stuff.
So we see where this fear might start. But how does it actually play out in a person's day-to-day life? Because this isn't just a thought that stays in your head. Oh no, it's a powerful force that sends ripples through absolutely everything.
The symptoms are both mental and physical. We're talking persistent anxiety, maybe even full-on panic attacks, just from thinking about death. Your brain can get stuck in a loop, obsessing over getting sick or dying. And your body definitely gets the memo. Think racing heart, sweating, the works. And a huge one is avoidance. People might go to incredible lengths to dodge anything that reminds them of mortality, whether it's a funeral or even just a movie with a sad ending.
And this is just so important to understand. This fear does not just stay in the mind. It's not something you can just think your way out of. It really, truly bleeds into every part of a person's life.
I mean, just imagine trying to get a good night's sleep when your mind is racing with these thoughts, or trying to focus at work. It can put a huge strain on relationships with friends and family. It just fundamentally chips away at your quality of life. The impact is absolutely massive.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty heavy, but here's the good news, and it is really good news. Living with this fear does not have to be the end of the story. There is a path forward, a way to manage it and to heal. So let's look at how someone can start to do that. Usually it's not just one thing, but a combination of approaches. Therapy is a huge one, especially something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's super effective because it helps you challenge and reframe those automatic negative thoughts about death. Then you've got personal strategies, things like mindfulness, that give you the tools to manage the anxiety when it pops up. And for some severe cases, medication can be a really helpful support to use alongside everything else.
And really, the whole point is captured perfectly right here. The goal is to get to a place where, with the right support, you can manage the fear and, this is the key, develop a healthier relationship with thoughts about death. I love that phrase. It's not about pretending death doesn't exist, because it does. It's about changing your relationship with the idea, moving from terror to a place of more peaceful acceptance.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last thought, something to really chew on. We spend so much time and energy running away from this fear. But what if that's the wrong approach? What if turning around and actually trying to understand our fear of dying is the very first step to figuring out how to truly live?